So for those of you who always stay to the end to watch the bloopers, and those of you who love Faith Family Homestead, I got my girl. Man, when you have a friend who is afraid of bugs and you see the opportunity arise, you have to take advantage of that, right? Go ahead and watch this. Okay, here she is spraying those Japanese beetles. Here it comes in 3, 2, 1. Oh, they on you. They not. Yeah, I saw some things out here with the tomatoes that weren't looking super great. Oh no, I'm stuck. They weren't super great. I could see some dots on the leaves, which I'm thinking that that's what a lot of you guys were telling me about, called blight. So I just need to go ahead and prune these tomatoes. Like it's pretty early for them to be doing that, but I know that all you tomato professionals out there definitely let me know. I am going to go ahead and remove all of these leaves. Only one of them has yellow leaves, but the rest of them that I'm seeing over here, they all have like little dots on them, and they look like very brown. So the question I have is, like, when you have a stem that has good leaves on it still, but then some of the leaves are like this, do you take off the whole stem or do you just take off the leaves? The question that I have for you who are tomato professionals, is there certain variations that are less disease prone than others? That's another question I have. This is a really big pile of the leaves that were either just like spotted like this or just completely yellow. Help! What do I do? I started to clip off some of these yellow and dead leaves, and I really need to get out here and like I'm looking in here and it's all pile here from these ones over here, and I haven't even gotten to those back there or the ones on this side or back there as far as tomatoes go. And this must be the powdery mildew that I've heard about. Well, on to a more positive note. This Suyo long cucumber is literally the best cucumber that I've ever eaten. The flavor was so amazing. These are really cool jelly melons. It was so exciting to see this tree that we just potted already sprout some green leaves. That is so amazing. Our patio watermelon patch is growing. And look what we have, sunflowers. We are so excited. Our green bean garden is starting to look so lush, but it hasn't produced a green bean yet, so we're still waiting for that. Something looks to be nibbling on our sweet potato slips in some areas, but overall they still look pretty good. These pumpkins are loving it over here. They are doing so well. The tomatoes over here are actually still looking really healthy. My first time ever seeing potatoes bloom. These front yard tomatoes are also looking really healthy. Hey, so today is the day and I'm waiting for the truck to come with the fill dirt. Like, I'm so excited about that. Yes. So I'm just about to clear away. I just hope that they could just come right through and go right to that area and just dump it there, because that's where I need it. And so this is a very, very, very exciting for us. I am excited because I want to go ahead and lay down the plastic so that I can go ahead and start mapping out our container garden area. That is very exciting to me. And so I knew I threw up a picture the other day of the bamboo and the rhizome and the roots, but I wanted to show you one in real life. Okay, so this is the stem or the comb. And then under here, this is what's going on underground. These are the rhizomes right here. And these are the roots. Crazy, right? Like it's a whole system going on under here. But yeah, this is the rhizomes. And so rhizomes create more rhizomes. And this is what spreads under the ground to create another comb or stem. So little nodules grow off of that make another one, and some grow off that make another one, and so on. Hey y'all, it's the next day and I cannot even tell you how hot it has been outside. Like literally, we've had we've been under a heat warning because it's been so hot out there. And so I tried to spend the least amount of time outside today, like as possible. So, what I have been doing has been very productive. I've been working on this all day long, and I have been mapping and planning out our garden space. And so, my brain has been like mush today. Is it just me? But when it comes to measurements and being precise and all the things, like I really have to really focus really hard. Like when it comes to doing the math and all the things, but it's so necessary and it's so important to just plan everything out before just going out. I'm all about winging things, but some things we can't wing it. We have to like legit do the work and legit like map it out so we know exactly what we are doing. And that's what I had to do with this new garden space, with this garden space that we're working on. And so I think I have arrived at least to a plan. I've written it down and I'm so excited about this, y'all. I'm like, is this even real? Like, is this going to, like, what I have on paper? Just the thought of it coming into existence is like mind blowing to me because we've already created this very beautiful garden space that I'm already in love with. Like I am so blessed to like have that garden space. And so to think about the fact that we could expand it and not only expand it, but we can have a greenhouse and not only have a greenhouse, but have an orchard. Like that's insane. Like that is so incredible. Like I'm overwhelmed with just gratefulness and excitement. So let me tell you about today. My son and I went outside, as you will see, and we just kind of measured, well, not kind of. So we just measured out what the space was going to be. And this is what it came out to. Like I've said before, our space right now is 35 feet long and it's about 10 feet wide, not including the vines on the other side of the gate. But I'm going to enclose all of that. So we technically are going to have a 35 by 14. So we want to extend that and make the garden space. Y'all ready for this? I mean, are y'all ready for this? The garden space looks like, from my measurements, that it can be 85 feet long. Like, that's insane. 85 feet long. So it looks like it can be 85 feet long by 20, which is like, oh my goodness, like that is mind blowing. And so that's so much space to work with. There's so much things that we can grow inside of that space. And so we went out there, did the measurement, and that space for the garden looks like it can be 85 by 20. So the next space looks like it can be a 20 by 20, which can house our greenhouse as well as a nice spot to have a worm farm, a compost bin, and collect rainwater, like all in that 20 by 20 space. That's what I'm hoping. And then next to that would be the orchard. And the orchard looks like it is going to be able to be 45 feet long by 20. And so that is the measurements that we have. So altogether we have 145 feet that we get to make into this space. And so that's what I've been working on today. I've been sitting down and really thinking about the space, thinking about how many trees can fit in an area that is 45 feet long. Thinking about, you know, the greenhouse, the size. Okay, so the greenhouse that I want it to be a greenhouse, but I also want it to be a garden shed. So I need a place to put all of the garden things. And so I'm thinking that the back side of it, which would be the north side, can be more of a shed. And then the front facing side can be the greenhouse. And so that is the hope. That is what I've been working on today. I have been very busy just putting like my thoughts on paper. So listen, for me, whenever I can, this encourages me. Like this motivates me. If I can put it down on paper and make it look cute, then I'm motivated by that. Like if it this is what motivates me. And so I'm about to show you how I came up with everything, what I was working on, and the steps that I was kind of taking to map out my space. But however you choose to use your measurements, it's fine. It just needs to be consistent. And so I have these little notepads right here, and this one is like graph paper. And I really, this was really handy. Obviously, you could just buy graph paper and use that. It's such a good tool. I had this, and so I didn't need to go buy graph paper because I could just, take these together, which worked perfectly fine for me. And so what I did on this for the orchard is every square that you see, I imagined that that was 1 foot. And so I just laid these out. And since the garden space is 20 by 45, I had 20 of these squares going across and 45 going long ways. And that's how I mapped this out for the orchard. Now for our garden space that we have right now, this is what it looks like. Let's see. This is what I've done. This is what it looks like. This is what I've done. So what I did was I just mapped it out, still using this, but more of a magnified sense. And so just mapped out what we had right now, because this is going to be a journal that I'm going to be able to look back on and see what it is that I've done. And so right here, I have my total space. I have the garden area and then the greenhouse and then the orchard at the top. That's what I started with. I have my measurements up there. And then underneath that, that's where I put our current garden. Now I am going to do a page just like this for the garden space whenever I really figure out what kind of box I'm going to use for our raised garden bed, the container garden. I need to figure that out first before I map it out so that I know what I'm working with. So I did not do the extended garden. So some things about that, I called because there is a electricity pole there, and the wires, the tension wires, are coming right into where we want to extend the garden. So I gave them a call. They came out and they pretty much said there's nothing they can do and that we can't have those wires moved. So those wires have to be a part of the garden. I'm not too worried about it. I would prefer for them not to be there because that would be better. I wouldn't have to work around it, but there's nothing I can do. And this still is an ideal spot for a garden because it's one of the least shaded spots in our yard all over. We have lots of trees, but this is a sunny spot. Since that bamboo is gone, now it's like prime real estate. And so I'm just going to move forward with extending the garden out to this space. What we have to do, the dirt came and we just have to just smooth that out, and then we're going to lay the plastic, and then I can start mapping out. Once I know what I'm going to use for our containers, I can start mapping that area out, and that is like so exciting. So that's the progression. It'll be moving forward with spreading out the dirt, and then followed by putting down the plastic. And then we would need to figure out what we're going to use for containers. Before I actually plant anything in those containers, I'm going to want to fence in that area, because the deer are regal around here. They are hungry, and they are always looking for a snack. And so just planning out that area is going to be the best thing, is to go ahead and fence in that area before we plant there. I definitely want to plant a fall garden. And so I want to be able to use that space. I'm in South Carolina, and we do have a long growing season, which is nice. But that does give me a chance to go ahead and get what I need to get ready for fall. And so that is the hope, is that by the time fall comes, that garden space will be completely ready. It will be nice and ready to go. And so, like I said, guys, I'm so excited about this transition that we are in. I'm so excited about the possibility to have a garden that I could never imagine that I could have, and just to really just see where we can go from this, just to work on it, see what resources we can find. Yeah, and just make it happen. It's exciting times. It's an exciting day, and I can't wait to just continue to share this journey with you guys. Thank you so much for coming along. Like, it's so incredible. You're so encouraging. This is incredible. And so thank you, thank you, thank you.